Dear Judge Lyman, as counsel for Wayfarer Studios LLC, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, It Ends With Us Movie LLC, Melissa Nathan, the Agency Group PR LLC, and Jennifer Abel, collectively the Wayfarer parties, we write to advise the court of an issue that the Wayfarer parties wish to address at the upcoming conference on Monday, February 3rd, 2025.
Introduction. Ever wonder how a seemingly perfect project can turn into a chaotic battlefield? That's exactly what happened with It Ends With Us. The tension sparked by rumors, behind-the-scenes arguments, and surprise legal moves has gripped everyone from dedicated movie fans to casual gossip followers. On the surface, you had an exciting collaboration. Blake Lively, a beloved star with a polished image, working alongside Justin Baldoni, the warm and easygoing director-actor known for advocating empathy in Hollywood. People expected a smooth, successful production for an adaptation of a best-selling novel. But instead, the entire partnership imploded in the most public way imaginable. You might think that creative disagreements happen all the time. Usually, though, they're kept under wraps or politely addressed. Not so here. The conflict escalated into mammoth lawsuits, one from Blake, another from Justin. The narrative became less about the film's deep themes and more about shocking text messages, contradictory claims, and allegations of power plays. Everybody got pulled in, including Ryan Reynolds, who found himself right in the middle of a controversy that hinted he might be stirring the pot behind the scenes. Once the media caught wind of these issues, the story turned into an ongoing roller coaster of gossip, viral updates, and industry fallout. It's the kind of Hollywood meltdown that leaves you asking who's telling the truth and who just wants to control it all. Before you take sides, buckle up. The following twists might seem unbelievable, yet they highlight how quickly reputations can shift in a town that worships success but punishes scandal. You'll see how receipts, like text messages, emails, and real-time call logs, have upended everything Blake tried to assert, while Justin's counterpunch stunned the entertainment world. You'll learn why Ryan's trademark snarky humor might have backfired on him, possibly tarnishing his family's golden image. And you'll discover how even the author of the original novel, once supportive of Blake, quietly distanced herself when the mess reached a boiling point. Let's dive right into how the trouble started. Section 1. Early sparks of conflict. When It Ends With Us first went into pre-production, word spread that Justin Baldoni was headlining both behind and in front of the camera. He seemed enthusiastic, hinting in social media posts that he wanted to preserve the novel's emotional core. Adding Blake Lively to the mix looked like a dream scenario. She'd proven her star power in multiple genres, and fans were eager to see her tackle something gritty and dramatic. At first, everything seemed to fall into place seamlessly. The story had a loyal readership, the cast generated buzz, and press releases boasted a confident launch. Beneath that glitzy surface, friction brewed. According to whispers from set insiders, the first clash arrived over something that, on the outside, seems almost trivial. Blake was dealing with postpartum changes and felt sensitive about her body. Justin allegedly asked questions related to her weight, claiming he needed to know specifics for a scene where he'd have to lift her. She found it insulting and borderline intrusive. Some people on set insisted it was a misunderstanding. Justin only wanted to ensure his back wouldn't be strained. Yet from Blake's perspective, it sounded like criticism of her physique at a vulnerable time. That small misunderstanding kicked up considerable dust online, especially once tabloids turned it into a series of dramatic headlines. In most productions, minor spats fade quickly, replaced by bigger creative priorities. But not here. The tension escalated. Blake apparently fumed about Justin's personal remarks, and Justin felt blindsided by the media storm that painted him as insensitive.
Justin says that Blake was determined to make him the real-life villain in her story because she wasn't doing well on the promo tour for the movie. It was very tone deaf. Her hair care line wasn't doing well. She was trying to sell booze while talking about domestic violence. Justin says the war between himself and Blake really started in May 2023 when they started shooting the movie. He claims that she was organizing a takeover strategy.
Seeing the coverage, the studio demanded a crisis management team. The plan was to minimize any negative fallout and present a unified front, but that might have been the spark that fanned the flames. As if that wasn't enough, new grumblings emerged about power struggles. Justin, as a director and producer, had a big role in shaping the film's creative decisions. Yet Blake's star power could overshadow him if she wanted more creative control. Gossip started swirling that she desired oversight on costume design, script edits, and even final cuts. The friction only grew. The calm before the storm was over, and the real chaos was about to begin. Section 2. The lawsuit surface. Once the set drama crossed a certain threshold, the legal beasts were unleashed. Seemingly overnight, news dropped that Blake was suing Justin for a staggering amount, $250 million, accusing him of conduct that made her feel unsafe. She cited on-set discomfort and implied repeated incidents that, according to her, verged on harassment. The tabloids had a field day. Viewers outside the production began to wonder if Justin was another Hollywood figure who mistreated a co-star under the guise of creative direction. But Justin didn't remain silent. Instead, he swung back with an even larger countersuit of $400 million, alleging defamation. He positioned himself as a man who had cherished respect and collaboration, only to be blindsided by spurious allegations. Adding to the confusion, rumors indicated Ryan Reynolds might have contributed to the entire blow-up. Some said Ryan was whispering in Blake's ear, urging her to assert absolute control to guarantee the film's success on her terms, or to leverage more influence in the industry for future projects. According to some insiders, the situation spiraled far beyond a simple actor-director dispute. Suddenly, every entertainment blogger was dissecting fresh documents, pointing out contradictions. The real shocker? Justin also named Ryan in the legal fight, claiming that Ryan had defamed him and was involved in pushing him into a bad deal. Hollywood watchers found it bizarre that Blake's husband would step so boldly into a business matter that should have been confined to a single production. Yet there it was, in black and white legal filings. Ryan was now a central figure in the meltdown, whether he intended it or not. At this point, the conflict had taken on a life of its own, overshadowing not only the film's original message about domestic AB, but also any excitement fans had for the adaptation. Even the best crisis management teams found themselves struggling to shape the narrative. People wondered if the real story would ever come out, or if each side would keep slinging accusations indefinitely. As interest soared, Justin's attorney, Brian Fredman, hinted that they had evidence that could demolish Blake's claims. Those were big words. But the question remained, would they back them up with actual receipts? Section 3. Evidence and Contradictions. Proving your side in a high-stakes legal fight often comes down to meticulously documented proof. For Justin, that meant unveiling a wealth of text messages, emails, and even behind-the-scenes voice recordings. While some of these materials were sealed, enough leaked out to stir a media frenzy. Large segments of text conversations between Justin and Blake showed a friendly banter. In them, Blake seemed relaxed, inviting Justin to her trailer for coffee breaks and trading playful jokes about stressful shoot days. For many observers, that didn't align at all with her image of being terrified or consistently uncomfortable around him. Blake's response was that the context had changed. She claimed Justin's behavior shifted drastically once filming went deeper. But her critics pointed out that her tone remained casual, even in messages that were dated just days before she filed suit. More damaging was the claim that she insisted Justin remained physically distant.
In Blake's first amended complaint, Blake changed what she alleges about what happened while filming the slow dance scene, now that the footage has been released for everyone to see. So what they're saying is, now that, Justin Baldoni shared the truth of what it looks like, they're no longer making the same claims. Previously, they said Miss Lively was filming a slow dance scene for a montage in which no sound was recorded. Of course, Justin proved there was sound. Mr. Baldoni chose to let the camera roll and have them perform the scene, but did not act in character as Ryle. Instead, he spoke to Miss Lively out of character as himself.
Yet there were group selfies showing them hugging or laughing arm in arm with other cast members. Such contradictions started chipping away at Blake's credibility, especially among fans who demanded more transparency. When the judge refused to issue a gag order to silence Justin's legal team, the entire drama intensified. The more that came out, the more people questioned if Blake's side had overreached. Statements that she was afraid to be alone with him clashed with email chains that had her praising his directorial style, praising his supportive energy on set. If these communications were authentic, it would be tough for Blake to reconcile them with her lawsuit narrative. Ryan's involvement made things even murkier. Some people believed that if Blake's allegations were rock solid, Ryan wouldn't be cracking jokes about them on Saturday Night Live. Instead, you might expect a spouse to stand firmly behind her in a sober, protective way. Instead, he treated the entire lawsuit almost like comedic material, making offhand comments. This raised eyebrows. Either Ryan felt confident no serious wrongdoing occurred, or he was trying to trivialize a legitimate problem to safeguard his brand. None of it made sense to fans hoping for consistency. And so the rumored contradictions grew, while Justin appeared increasingly unafraid to speak his mind. Section 4. Hollywood Reaction and Media Storm. Public perception shifted quickly as the tabloids digested each new leak or quote. Initially, many commentators sided with Blake, assuming that a powerful actress stepping forward might have a legitimate grievance. Yet once Justin's receipts trickled out, dozens of texts and emails that seemed to undermine her accusations, sympathy began to waver. Twitter and TikTok erupted with commentary, with some users pointing out that real cases of on-set wrongdoing typically spark testimonies from more than one individual. Here, no one else publicly confirmed Blake's account. No hair and makeup artist, no production assistant, no co-star stood up to echo her concerns. Meanwhile, Justin's behavior was calm. He shared thoughtful posts, occasionally hinting at deeper truths he would eventually reveal. Pundits compared this approach to how Johnny Depp had slowly but surely won public favor by meticulously presenting evidence and calmly disputing sensational claims in his own legal saga. In Hollywood, the court of public opinion can be just as important as the actual courtroom. Ryan Reynolds, once revered as a fan-favorite comedic actor, found his reputation taking a small hit. Skeptics started questioning whether his Mr. Nice Guy facade was just that, a facade. Making jokes about a lawsuit that includes accusations of harassment and defamation might not be a good look. Brands connected with him, such as Aviation Gin and Mint Mobile, watched warily. They poured millions into collaborations that thrived on his affable persona. If his response to a serious matter was comedic deflection, that might risk turning off customers and business partners. Hollywood insiders also noticed who stayed silent. Typically, if someone is genuinely mistreated on set, you see statements from co-stars or longtime friends. But Blake's former colleagues from Gossip Girl and other projects offered no supportive quotes. Even the author of It Ends With Us, Colleen Hoover, quietly removed online references praising Blake. That left a vacancy of voices backing her story, fueling the notion that perhaps everyone in the industry was hedging their bets. No one wanted to align themselves with a potential losing side, especially if damaging evidence was on the horizon. The media, sensing blood, continued to chase the next big reveal. Section 5. Reputational Fallout. Once the tide of public sentiment starts turning, it can be almost impossible to swim back. That's where Blake found herself. As more emails and chat logs came out, the mismatch between her narrative and Justin's supporting documents grew. The hashtag number cancel Blake Lively cropped up on social media, hinting that a certain segment of the public now saw her as the aggressor. People openly questioned whether she had orchestrated this fiasco to seize creative control over It Ends With Us. On top of that, her financial position came under threat. With Justin's $400 million countersuit looming, any unfavorable verdict could devastate her resources. Sure, Ryan Reynolds is wealthy. Some estimates put him around $350 million in net worth. But not all of that is liquid. A massive legal defeat might freeze investments, derail brand partnerships, and cause real turmoil within their household. Friends of the couple whispered that the tension was building behind the scenes, not just in court documents. And if one or both of them lost the trust of major studios, their star power could fade rapidly.
He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it. I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully. That Justin Baldoni, ultimately, by the time they got to the premiere, was mandated by Blake Lively to spend the night in the basement away from his co-stars and didn't even get to see the final cut of his own movie because Blake Lively insisted that she be the one to approve it.
Brands that once clamored for endorsements from Blake or Ryan started to go quiet. In Hollywood's risk-averse culture, no company wants to be associated with a scandal that's spiraling out of control. Onlookers compared the situation to how quickly deals vanish when a celebrity's name becomes toxic. The bigger the potential liability, the faster brand managers run. If the negative headlines continued, it wouldn't be shocking to see entire endorsement deals scrapped, hurting both the couple's finances and prestige. Meanwhile, Justin's star appeared to be rising. People applauded his willingness to fight what he viewed as a false narrative. Some labeled him brave for taking on not just one, but two influential personalities in Blake and Ryan. There was talk that other producers found his stance refreshing, a sign that not every smaller name in Hollywood automatically capitulates to bigger stars. If the court ultimately sides with him, it could open doors for more projects and, ironically, elevate his career more than ever before. This possibility only worsened the growing resentment from Team Lively Reynolds. Section 6. Surprising Twists and Rumors. Just when you thought the drama had peaked, new rumors piled on. People speculated that Blake wasn't the true puppet master, that Ryan was orchestrating the entire escalation from backstage. One story claimed he barged into Blake's trailer to discuss a negotiation tactic that was more hostile toward Justin, only for production assistants to overhear a heated argument. Another tidbit suggested that Blake actually tried to keep the dispute private, but Ryan allegedly believed a forceful lawsuit would guarantee them higher leverage over creative decisions. Then there were whispers about the film's fate. It Ends With Us, known for exploring domestic AB, became overshadowed by real-life animosity. Some fans who adored the book felt betrayed. They argued that the story's essence, surviving difficult circumstances and confronting trauma, had been overshadowed by Hollywood egos. Another faction of fans insisted the film should still move forward, albeit with a new lead actress, to keep the integrity of the novel intact. Colleen Hoover's reluctance to publicly defend Blake also made waves. At one point, she had celebrated Blake as the perfect casting choice. Then, almost overnight, references to Blake vanished from her online profiles. This abrupt shift fueled suspicions that Colleen had glimpsed enough of the behind-the-scenes fiasco to realize it was safer to back away quietly. Did she see devastating evidence exonerating Justin, or did she simply prefer not to be tangled in a sensational lawsuit? No one outside her inner circle knew for sure, but the vanishing praise spoke volumes to many observers. Ryan's comedic approach on TV only added to the intrigue. Fans couldn't decide if he was mocking serious allegations because he genuinely thought they were baseless, or if he was being flippant to shield his own role in the fiasco. Some marketing experts predicted that if he continued cracking jokes about a potentially life-ruining lawsuit, brand sponsors might step back. Public opinion is fickle, and one ill-timed joke can sour an entire demographic. Section 7. Potential endgames. If Blake's claims falter in court, the fallout could be immense. Justin's $400 million countersuit looms like a thundercloud. Even though Ryan has considerable wealth, no one wants to hemorrhage tens or hundreds of millions from personal funds. The prospect of a massive payout would likely destroy Blake's finances and rattle Ryan's business ventures. The whispers about tension within their marriage grow louder each day. Self-preservation can drive a wedge between even the tightest couples, especially in a scandal big enough to end Hollywood careers. Justin, on the other hand, might step onto a brighter stage if he wins decisively. Studios often appreciate talent that stands up for principles. If the court absolves him of wrongdoing and awards him damages, it signals that he had been wrongly accused. In an industry that always needs fresh directorial voices, that could translate into more opportunities for him. The notion of Blake Lively inadvertently boosting Justin's profile through a failed lawsuit feels almost too ironic to believe. Yet that's the scenario unfolding if her case keeps unraveling. Another possibility is a private settlement. Sometimes big personalities would rather cut a check behind closed doors than risk a humiliating public defeat. If that happens, the settlement amounts might stay sealed, leaving fans to speculate about who actually came out on top. But given the intensity of the accusations, it's also possible that both sides want a definitive public ruling to clear their names. A settlement might not provide the sense of vindication or victory they crave. For those who still think Blake could come out unscathed, remember how swiftly Hollywood turned on Amber Heard after her defamation trial. The moment a star is labeled as deceitful in a high-profile, evidence-driven scenario, the entire industry can go cold. As stories swirl that no one among Blake's A-list friends is defending her, it begs the question, is this a sign she lacks allies, or are they simply waiting for the final verdict before jumping into the fray?
And that's part of the point that Justin's team is making in kind of complying with what they're viewing as threats made on her behalf against Justin is like, well, there's this financial consequence to everything in addition to the strike consequences too, right? So they filmed May to June, then shut down for the strike, and then they were down until January. But I think that the strike lifted in November, but then she had all these return to work provisions.
That tension alone keeps fans glued to every update, fueling countless theories online about how or if she can save her image. Section 8. The scandal's wider impact. This fiasco isn't just about a single film or a couple of celebrities. It also highlights a broader shift in Hollywood power dynamics. For decades, the biggest names would often get whatever they wanted, with studios quick to accommodate them. But in a social media-driven era, the public expects more transparency. If a major star tries to bend the truth, they can't rely solely on behind-the-scenes influence to keep everything quiet. Receipts, from text chains to email threads, can leak at any moment, turning fans into instant detectives who demand accountability. The It Ends With Us production also underscores how quickly a movie's message can be overshadowed by real-life controversy. This film was supposed to amplify a conversation about domestic AB, giving voice to survivors and shining light on a sensitive topic. Instead, many conversations revolve around feuding celebrities, million-dollar lawsuits, and contradictory depositions. The overshadowing is so profound that a project once championed for its empathy and emotional depth might now be recognized solely as the trigger for a humiliating Hollywood meltdown. Brand partnerships serve as another bellwether. Companies like to stay neutral until something becomes a public relations time bomb. When that line is crossed, they bail out to protect their profits. If sponsors start dropping Blake Lively, it will speak volumes about their confidence in her innocence. The same goes for Ryan. If jokes about the lawsuit keep surfacing and fans interpret them as tone-deaf, corporate partners might distance themselves from him for fear of backlash. And let's not forget the personal toll. Even if they come to a legal resolution, the emotional strain on everyone involved could be devastating. As rumors swirl that Ryan and Blake are facing private marital stress, some suggest a separation might be in the cards if the verdict goes against Blake. On Justin's end, he has admitted feeling immense pressure, seeing how easily someone with more fame can shape public opinion against him. The longer this drags on, the more it damages personal well-being as much as professional status. Conclusion. So where does that leave us? This entire saga began with two artists teaming up for a film adaptation that promised emotional authenticity and a spotlight on important social issues. Instead, it turned into a non-stop reel of accusations, legal maneuvers, and sensational headlines. Blake Lively, once portrayed as a wholesome celebrity, now stands on shaky ground, fighting to maintain credibility in the face of relentless evidence that contradicts her claims. Ryan Reynolds risks tarnishing his own fun-loving brand by making light of what's supposed to be a serious matter. And Justin Baldoni, initially overshadowed by the star power of his lead actress, may emerge not just victorious in court, but with a newfound reputation for courage and integrity. Rumors hint that even more revelations lie ahead, texts or emails so incriminating that they could finalize the public's judgment, testimonies from cast or crew who might break their silence on what really went down. And if a judge or jury sides strongly with Justin, awarding a colossal sum in damages, the repercussions for Blake and Ryan could be catastrophic. Fame in Hollywood can vanish almost as quickly as it arrives, and a public betrayal of trust leaves a mark that's hard to erase. In the end, this entire crisis might serve as a cautionary tale for the entertainment world. Accusations require concrete proof, and if you're leveling huge claims against someone, especially in an era that demands accountability, be prepared for your own actions to face scrutiny. One misguided lawsuit can destroy a carefully curated image in weeks. For now, fans and critics alike wait to see how the final chapter will unfold. Will Blake salvage her standing and find a way to right this ship? Or will Justin's mounting pile of evidence bring her carefully built empire crashing down? No matter the outcome, one thing seems certain. It Ends With Us will be remembered as the film overshadowed by one of the wildest Hollywood showdowns in recent history.